Did you know the history of the Philippines? It's more than just a timeline of colonization. It's a rich, dynamic story of ancient cultures, global trade, fierce resistance, and the resilience of a people that spans thousands of years. The Philippines wasn't just a quiet, isolated group of islands. It was a land of connection, movement, and evolution long before the name Philippines was ever spoken. Let's journey back in time and explore the beginnings of this remarkable nation. Our story begins over 700,000 years ago. In 2018, archaeologists made a groundbreaking discovery in Kalinga, Luzon, rhinoceros bones with cut marks and stone tools. This suggests that early humans, possibly Homo erectus, had already reached the Philippine Islands much earlier than previously believed. This discovery not only pushed back the timeline of human presence in the archipelago, but also gave us new insight into the lives of these ancient inhabitants. While we don't know much about these early humans, their presence marks the beginning of a story that would evolve through the ages. Fast forward to around 50,000 years ago, the arrival of the so-called Calao Man in Cagayan Valley added another crucial chapter to Philippine prehistory. This set of human remains is now considered the earliest known Homo species in the country. It predates even the famous Taban Man discovered in Palawan in the 1960s, which had long been thought to be the oldest human remains in the Philippines. The discovery of Calao Man provides new evidence of the human journey across Southeast Asia, and the Philippines played an important role in that migration. As thousands of years passed, waves of migration brought Austronesian-speaking peoples to the Philippine Islands. These early Filipinos, who arrived around 4,000 years ago, were exceptional seafarers. They navigated vast distances, creating one of the most widespread language families in the world. They were skilled in agriculture, seafaring, and pottery. They built complex societies based on small, kin-based communities known as barangays, which were governed by local leaders called dadas. Each barangay functioned independently, with its own laws, customs, and alliances, but they were also connected through trade and shared cultural practices. Despite being geographically scattered across more than 7,000 islands, these early Filipinos were far from isolated. They were part of a thriving, interconnected network of Southeast Asian kingdoms, trading with merchants from China, India, the Middle East, and other nearby Southeast Asian islands. These trade routes brought porcelain, silk, spices, and gold to the islands, influencing the culture and economy of the local populations. The exchange of goods also facilitated the spread of new technologies, ideas, and religions, shaping the Philippines long before European colonization. By the 10th century, the Philippines was already making a name for itself on the world stage. Written records from abroad began to mention the islands. One of the most significant finds was the Laguna copperplate inscription, dating back to 900 AD. This document, written in a combination of ancient scripts, reveals a sophisticated society with a system of writing, governance, and trade with neighboring regions. The inscription mentions an official named Namwaran, who is said to have had dealings with rulers from neighboring territories, suggesting that the Philippines had established diplomatic and economic relationships with other nations long before the arrival of European powers. As we move into the 14th and 15th centuries, the spread of Islam began to shape the southern islands. Muslim traders and missionaries from Borneo and the Malay Peninsula introduced Islam to the archipelago, bringing with them not only new religious beliefs but also political structures. The sultanates of Sulu and Maguindanao emerged, becoming powerful political entities in the southern Philippines. These sultanates maintained their independence and continued to thrive, establishing complex political systems that endured even when the Spanish arrived. Then came 1521. Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer sailing under the Spanish flag, arrived in the Visayas. Although he was not the first foreigner to reach the Philippines, his arrival marked the beginning of centuries of Spanish influence. Magellan's early interactions with the locals were relatively peaceful. He converted some local leaders to Christianity, including Raja Humabon of Cebu. However, not all the Filipino leaders welcomed the foreign presence, and Magellan would soon come to face fierce resistance. One of the most memorable moments in Philippine history occurred when Magellan encountered Lapu-Lapu, the chieftain of Mactan. Refusing to submit to foreign rule, Lapu-Lapu and his warriors fought against Magellan's forces in the famous Battle of Mactan. Magellan was killed, becoming one of the first casualties of colonial ambition in the islands. Lapu-Lapu's victory in that battle would make him an enduring symbol of Filipino resistance against foreign invaders. His story became legendary, inspiring future generations to fight for their freedom and sovereignty. Although Magellan's voyage ended in tragedy, the spark of Spanish interest in the islands had been lit. it. Over the next few decades, Spain would return with a greater force, and the stage would be set for over 300 years of colonization. But that's a story for another time. This is just the beginning. If you want to continue uncovering the fascinating history of the Philippines, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next episode where we dive deeper into the impact of Spanish colonization and the fight for independence.